This comes on unceremoniously, right? It's crazy. What the heck? What kind of day is this? My goodness. Comes on unceremoniously, right? Oh my goodness. What kind of day is this? This kind of day. Hello, you guys. It's Adrienne. Adrienne Obi, CapricornTigress of astrologyalookinside.com. And I'm coming to you guys. Well, look, I'm just going to keep it real about today. Why hide the facts about what's going on? Today has been the day from I don't know where. It's I live in Seattle. Okay, so I don't know if you know what's going on at this very moment. My daughter is trapped downtown. She works in Pioneer Square. There's been mass shootings. Several people are dead. There's 5 people who have been hospitalized so far. They've got the city of Seattle was shut down, downtown, like she had called to get an Uber and it was like $70 just to get in the, I guess they're like, we're not going into a war zone. Ain't nobody going into Seattle. So it's one of those things. She's I was on the phone with her up until just a few minutes ago. So, I kind of feel her nervousness. And if I look like I keep pulling at my hair, and is like, I'm glad. Okay. I put my makeup on just like 5-10 minutes ago and I'm out here. And, what a day. I almost feel like I want to go into this whole experience with some kind of prayer of some kind, something, anything. Just something that's going to lift this moment. I just wanted to see if I could do something really quick. If not, I'll just say it from my heart. Divine Spirit, please be with us. Please be with us at this time. Watch and protect over those who need you. Protect those to help guide them home safely. Be with us. I'm hoping that we start raising the vibration instead of lowering it. I feel like every time something negative like this happens, that's what happens is we're lowering the vibration instead of raising it, instead of, uplifting. I've talked about the uplifting and the not uplifting before. So I think that's pretty much what we're dealing with again. There's probably reasons behind the shootings we don't know, but I sense they're probably just random. So it's one of those things that, you just hope that just the vibration, just raise that. So I want to look at where the planets are in the night sky. And if you've never, seen me go live doing these, what I usually do is I look at where the planets are in the night sky, which is, where the planets are aspects, if I can get to them. If I can't get to them, then it may be a sign that, well, it's not a good time for me to do what it is I'm about to do tonight. I had attempted to go live on Facebook first, and I was not able to do that. Facebook is located downtown Seattle. And I'm now trying to get into astro.com. Oh, it's finally coming up, but it really took a minute. So, okay. So let's see here. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not even sure what's being seen, how it's being taken, if the words I say, if they're, you know, sometimes I'm finding at this point in time that, you know, the words I say sometimes are offending people, even though I'm not attempting to offend anyone for any reason. It's just not what I'm trying to do. Anyway, I'm going to talk about where these planets are because it's amazing. You guys, I don't usually do my readings with the light out, but I just heard craziness outside my window. I'm literally going to I'm going to put the light shade on here. I hope you can see me, but I mean, not saying I'm taping in darkness, but I feel like I'm taping in darkness, or I should. I don't live in the best of areas. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't know. I don't live in the best of areas, believe me, in Seattle. I mean, at least I'm in North Seattle, but that's not that great anymore. Seattle, yeah, it's like this everywhere, isn't it? Everywhere. So, we had someone killed right next door, right, my neighbor next door. I'd seen her just a week before. She actually came in, brought over a package to me. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I mean about raising the world's vibration. We've got to figure out how we're going to do that, folks. I mean, really, we have to figure out how we're going to do that. One of the things that me and my daughter do have some deep conversations because she's a pretty deep person, but one of the things we talked about is that when people feel like they're in desperate times, they do desperate things. And there's even a saying, desperate times calls for desperate measures. And I just don't know if that means lose your humanity, you know. And so that's one of the things that I think we're all facing. Humanity is a big word, right? Humanity, morality, humanity, mankind, humankind, having a kinship with one another as people. And I think this is all what our focus is at this time and what it's going to be throughout 2020. And the reason for that is that this is all the focus of Aquarius. Just had a major shift from Capricorn into Aquarius. The sun is now at 2 degrees and 34 minutes of Aquarius. And so all of the changes and the, I hate to say it, the murders and stuff, it's all the chaos that is brought on by Aquarius, sadly. We're talking Uranus here, which is the ruler of Aquarius. And right now, the ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, is in the sign of Taurus at 2 degrees, exactly squaring its ruler, Aquarius sun at 2 degrees. And what we felt today was a very good example of that. Also, let's not forget that Chiron is at 2 degrees of Aries, which is exactly sextile that sun at 2 degrees of Aquarius. In other words, the air and the fire are boosting each other. It's like a hot air balloon. It's like a balloon that wants to pop when Uranus squares the sun at 2 degrees of Aquarius. And I believe what we experienced in Seattle is indicative of the, sometimes a balloon will fill with so much hot air. And, because Chiron is in Aries, it's hot. And the sun is in Aquarius, it's cold. they're, it's cold air in hot combustion. And I've said it and I warned people, but I'm going to warn people again. The cold air in which I think or speak of is the mentality. It's the lack of humanity. It's losing that part of the human soul that keeps you from doing the unthinkable, or it keeps you in touch with your humanity. We're dealing with that. We're seeing that. Chiron is the wounded healer. And so it is, like I said, sextile the sun right now. It's healing wounds. It's healing wounds. And I think that the wounds can be healed in the area of communication. Like, I think if we're able to think succinctly and speak about the concerns, maybe with a little bit of like, it might be a little aggressive, but speak it out, talk it out. I think that a lot of this can be avoided, a lot of problems. But I don't know if there was any talk today. I think that was all, pretty desperate things happening. So let's move on, because I could go deeply into what that entire setup is about. That is a major setup, you guys. We're talking major here. And so I would say over the next couple of days, just be careful. Out of the blue, sudden, shocking, unexpected events, to, people, places, things around you. It's things we may not be able to control because it's out of our what we can or what we can control, period. It's not controllable. It's out of control events, which is why I put my light off. It's not the time to bring attention. Yeah, I think it's one of those times. So just be aware of that. I'm talking about what's happening in Seattle, but how do I know that can, at the same time that there could be something happening where you're located? So just be aware that, you ever hear that saying, there's something in the air? There's something in the air. Okay. Now the moon is at 12 degrees of Capricorn, and luckily it's moving away from, well, no, I shouldn't say that. It's not moving away. It's actually still pretty much conjunct that Jupiter, which is just within minutes of an exact conjunction with that moon. And we did have an exact conjunction with Jupiter earlier today. And I do think that may also be part of it. I don't know if I think I've spoke about this Jupiter. I definitely wrote about it on the website. But when there's Capricorn and then there's Jupiter, and we got Saturn and Pluto too. But it's like that the darkness and the lightness are at battle. Sometimes I think internally, people are in battle between the light and the dark within themselves. There is a battle between the light and the dark right now. And that humanity is huge right now. And I say that because not only is the sun in Aquarius, but Mercury is at 10 degrees of Aquarius as well. And all I can say is, light workers unite. If you are someone who feels whatever this is, I don't know what it is, but I've been doing it for months now, coming out and talking about raising the world's vibration, coming back to our humanity. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. This is life we're talking about. No matter what happens, I just always, there's something that my ex who, you know, he did have one redeeming quality, and it was that he thought, well, no matter what, I believe in the sanctity of life. I mean, we fight to save animals, we fight to save our economy, we fight to save everything. Let's fight to save each other. Believe in the sanctity of life. Believe in humanity. That before anything else. We're all one. We are. It's one earth, one people, one. All the work we do within that one doesn't make us not one. It's just all happening within the one. We're all on the same earth, fighting the same battles, living through the same existence at this time. And I think when hope goes, which, see, this is what I've meant about Jupiter and Capricorn, Saturn and Pluto there. I think when hope goes, which is what I think we might have experienced a little today. The moon was in Capricorn and Jupiter was in Capricorn, and they conjunct. Not Saturn itself, but Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a double Capricorn, so I know from which I speak. Okay, I do. There's a natural melancholy that exists in Capricorn that exists nowhere else. Maybe Pisces, but we're not getting much help from that either because, well, Venus is in Pisces right now, and so is Neptune. And they're all gathered around those same areas of the, like the preteens and teens. The moon's at 12 degrees, Venus is at 11 degrees of Pisces, Jupiter's at 11 degrees of Capricorn. By the way, that moon's at 12 degrees of Capricorn. And Neptune's at 16 degrees of Pisces. The Capricorn and Pisces thing is very strong. Capricorn and Pisces are like, I hate to say that together it's mud. It's the wet blanket time. It's heavy. And it's a little emotional. For some people today, it was painful because they lost people they loved. So it's one of those days, you guys. It is really time for us to start loving humanity again. It really is. Mars is at 13 degrees of Sagittarius now, and that actually is, I think, from where I'm sitting, to me, it is making a sextile to Mercury. And again, it's combustion. It's hot air going into cold, it's a hot element going into all that cold air. It's combustible. And that is Mercury at 10 degrees of Aquarius and Mars at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. I think we've been dealing with the combustion for a little minute now. Mercury's moving quicker, so it's going toward an exact conjunction, or excuse me, sextile. In fact, Mercury's almost at 11 degrees, so yeah. I mentioned Jupiter at 11, Saturn at 24, Pluto's at 23. They're not exactly on, that exact conjunction we had a little earlier, a few weeks back, but it's still technically conjunct. And I think, again, it's the heaviness of Saturn being on Pluto. It's the heaviness of Capricorn being, Saturn being in Capricorn and with Pluto. I think what we're also doing right now is we're preparing for the transition. The funny thing about Saturn is it rules both Capricorn and Aquarius. It co-rules, it's the ruler of Capricorn, but it co-rules Aquarius. And I think one of the reasons why is that when it comes out of Capricorn, that gradual movement into Aquarius is like a shock to the system. I feel like we're moving into that part of the shock to the system. Let's not forget Saturn will be in Aquarius in March. And so we're gearing up for that. We really are. And that Saturn's moving faster than Pluto. So it's overtaken it, but it's still conjunct it, what they call separating. And it is heavy. It's a heavy time. This is not a light time, people. I think with the sun in Aquarius, it's going to be a lot lighter than it was in Capricorn, but it's still not light. It's, bouncy, bouncy. We're not there. Especially right now with that Uranus squaring its own, Uranus rules Aquarius. So it is squaring its own home, basically. It loves Aquarius. How dare it square itself? So it's at odds with itself. And I think all of the violence and the shootings and the chaos going on in the city of Seattle is just Uranus squaring its own home. It just really did a doozy today. So look, we got the North Node. I think that's the only thing I haven't covered. It's in 8 degrees, and that is in Cancer. And it's pulling away from, being in a square formation with Jupiter, which is nice. And it's in conjunct Mercury, but really that North Node, it's retrograding, it's going down lower now, and it's pulling away from the other planets that are in the teens. And so we're getting a little bit of respite from that. But man, I think with Chiron in Aries in general, I think it's, and the North Node in Cancer, that they're not really in a square anymore. But I think just having compassion versus aggression, it has been a major theme. Like people are either light or they're dark. They're in or they're out. They're loving or they're mean. They're compassionate or they're aggressive. They are, people are choosing sides. I know several people have been talking about it, but it's true. I see it. It's right there in astrology as well. I see it. We're choosing sides, and you got to. Are you going to be with the crazy people out there shooting up the place? Are you going to protect the sanctity of life, your children, your progeny? This is a time when we have to decide if we're going to be part of the chaos, or are we going to be part of whatever structure we can make out of the chaos? Anyway, I'm going to stop my little preaching session. It's just something it came out of me because I had to say what I had to say. Maybe this is why I was led to come and record live on YouTube tonight instead of on Facebook. It was a message I needed to share. So one of the things I usually do, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to do that because I'm not on Facebook right now. I'm on YouTube. And I don't know if anyone even knows I'm on YouTube because most people don't follow me on YouTube the way they do on Facebook, or, wait for me to go live or anything like that. So I feel like right now I'm just pretty much taping to myself. But I just want to know that this message was very, very important. I am going to go and attempt to do a live on Facebook again, where I can actually do readings for people that are there. But it feels a little redundant to do the readings here because I don't know how many of them are going to see them. So I think I'm going to leave with just the message that I just left you, which is where the planets are, my message about where the planets are, my message about what we can do as a people, as a humanity. And, basically my report on the insanity that is Seattle. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it with that. And just wishing everyone much love and much light, and just you know, just hoping that everything is okay where you are. All right. Well, many blessings to you. I'm going to, you know, I always like to put on music. So I'm going to put on some music and jam on out. And much love to you all. Okay.